Hello, and welcome to the virtual college exploration for all Pennsylvania students. This program is sponsored by the Pennsylvania Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. My name is Justin. I'm a volunteer with the Pennsylvania Association for College Admission Counseling, which is a nonprofit association comprised of more than 1,200 school counselors, college admission counselors, independent educational consultants, and other professionals responsible for guiding students through the important transition from high school to post-secondary options. Thank you all for joining us today. I have a few housekeeping announcements before we get started. For students and attendees, you can use the Q&A button on your screen to type out any questions you have for our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off so the panelists cannot see or hear you throughout the program. This is just one of many different sessions that will be happening over the coming weeks, so be sure to check out the full schedule at PACAC.org. And this presentation is also being recorded and will be available within about a week at that same website of PACAC.org. And with those announcements complete, I would now like to turn it over to our presenters. So enjoy today's presentation.
Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it. And welcome, everybody. Thank you for attending the session here. Excited to have you. Let me just get this set up here to get this working. We appreciate you taking the time to meet with us. My name is Bill D'Amico. I'm an associate director in the Office of Admissions at Youngstown State University, and we have a bunch of information to cover in this next 45 minutes. The goal is to make sure we cover pretty much everything we can, and at the end we'll have a little bit of time for you to hear about one of our current students' experiences, and then we'll take any questions that you have. So in front of you, you can see some of the topics that we're going to cover. One other thing that I want to mention, for those of you who maybe want to physically visit campus, I'd recommend going to our visit.ysu.edu page. We have a virtual calendar. We are open for visits. If you have the opportunity, please check us out. There's also some other virtual options on there as well. So if you want to take a virtual tour of campus, if you want to take a virtual tour of some of our residence halls, there's a wealth of information again on our visit.ysu.edu page. Before we jump into some of that material though, I just want to show you a brief video about our past academic year and why our students are why I'm proud.
In Youngstown State University's 112-year history, there's never been quite anything like the 2019-2020 academic year. It started out as a relatively ordinary fall semester as we welcomed the class of 2023 to campus. We celebrated the golden anniversary of WYSU. We partnered with IBM to launch an IT Workforce Accelerator program that promises to put YSU a step ahead in the high-tech job market. Our world-renowned English Festival received the prestigious National Intellectual Freedom Award. The Bigley College of Education earned a national A grade for early reading instruction. And for the 10th year straight, our beautiful 145-acre campus, adorned with nearly 2,000 trees, was designated as a Tree Campus USA. Our students also continue to excel, including the 2020 National Student Intern of the Year, our national ranked moot court team, and of course, our national champion ethics bowl squad. By late January, we were announcing that the historic We See Tomorrow fundraising campaign had hit its $100 million goal, the most ever in YSU history. The campaign has received 27,000 gifts in all, including 32 donations of $1 million or more, and has set a new goal of $125 million. But then, everything changed. As the deadly coronavirus pandemic swept across the world, every sector of the nation, including higher education, came face to face with challenges most of us could never imagine. But the YSU community did what it always does. We came together in an unprecedented fashion. In less than 10 days, we moved all of our classes to remote delivery and developed an array of virtual student support services. We had virtual music performances, online training sessions, web-based rec offerings, and thousands of WebEx and Zoom meetings. And most importantly, our students stepped up, showing tremendous resilience and resolve to turn difficult circumstances into great success. That success included a new student Fulbright recipient, a Barry Goldwater Scholar, and dozens of students across many disciplines, from business to gerontology, journalism to graphic design, winning state and national contests and awards. In the words of student Taylor Valero, who won the Golden Addy Award in advertising, the sky is the limit. Despite the continued challenges, the sky certainly does remain our only limit. We showed our toughness in the toughest of times. Maybe our greatest accomplishment was helping more than 1,400 students graduate in our first ever virtual spring commencement. Now, we enter a new academic year. Many unknowns and many challenges remain. What we do know, however, is that our students will continue to accomplish great things. We know our faculty and staff will be there to support them, and we know that YSU will remain steadfast in delivering high-quality, faculty-engaged education in a safe and nurturing environment, no matter the hurdles we face. We are all in this together, and together, we will succeed for all.
All right, so just kind of a quick overview, and I would agree with a lot of the points that the video brought up. Despite all the different challenges that we faced ending the academic year last year and going into this year, in my opinion, there's never been a better time to be a YSU student than right now. Despite all that stuff, there's just this energy and vibe on campus right now that we haven't had before, from the leadership of President Tressel, who is extremely student-centered. He does a great job working with our students, to a lot of different improvements that we have on campus, new academic facilities, new athletic facilities, new apartment buildings on campus, new food places right here. The city of Youngstown itself has come a long way, so there's been a lot of infrastructure done on and around campus. As a matter of fact, we're actually in the process right now of redoing one of our corridors called Fifth Avenue, where there's going to be an autonomous tram on campus. So there's going to be basically a shuttle that runs on its own that's going to connect downtown to campus to our health corridor. So there's just a ton of really cool things going on right now. And I also want to mention the fact that I know some of the universities you may be looking at, they're 100% online and some are mixed. We actually have 5 different modalities on campus right now. So we do have students attending class here on campus. We have some doing them remotely. We have a bunch of in-between options. So I wanted to put that out there as well. For those of you who may not know, Youngstown State University is classified as a mid-sized Division I urban research institution. So what does that mean? Well, in my opinion, we get to pull from the benefits of it being a larger school with, as you can see here, we have $39 million in research. We have Division I sports. We have over 115 different academic programs. There's tons of student involvement opportunities, study abroad, all kinds of organizations, the things you'd expect to find at a larger school. But at the same time, you can see our average class size is 26 students. So you're going to have an intimate class size pretty similar to what you're used to at the high school level. You're not going to be in those gigantic stadium seated classes where you're just in a sea of people and the professor never gets to know you. It's going to feel a lot like a high school class where the professors are going to get to know you. They're going to call you out by name. There's a lot of individual and real-time discussion. You're going to meet some great friends, make some great connections. You're going to study together. You're going to complain about the homework together. You're going to be doing group projects. So you have the benefits of a larger school with all the different aspects, research, opportunities that are out there, but you get the intimate class size. So you really will make some connections and not feel like you're just another number here at YSU. So there are 3 main things that are going to make up your experience as a student. First and foremost, obviously starts with academics. So you're looking at schools and universities for an academic career. As I mentioned in introduction, we have 115 different majors at YSU. They actually fall within 5 different colleges. We really have something for everybody. So whether you're interested in engineering or the health sciences like nursing or physical therapy or education, we have everything from pre-K to 12 and everything in between there, to our Williamson College of Business Administration, a forensic science program, criminal justice, sports broadcasting. I mean, I go on and on. There's so many different programs out there. So a lot to choose from. Maybe you're somebody like me. I really had no idea what I wanted to do coming to YSU. I actually switched my major 4 times, and it's not something I recommend doing, but I just really didn't know what I wanted to do. So if you're sitting out there and you're like, I am kind of undetermined, it's totally fine as well. It's nice to have 115 different majors where you can kind of come to YSU and try them all out and see what fits. So aside from all the different academic programs we have, research and experiential learning is a really big part of your curriculum at YSU. So we want to make sure that you take the theory that you're learning in the classroom and practice it, whether you're doing research alongside faculty. We have students that are on patents with faculty. They're published. They do research. You can do all those sorts of things. Experiential learning opportunities. Maybe you're doing internships, multiple semester co-ops, study abroad. Whatever you're interested in, you're going to have a lot of ways, again, to grow outside the classroom. Aside from that, we also have a great honors college. So for students that have a 3.5 GPA and then either a 26 ACT or 1240 SAT, you have the ability to apply for the honors college. The honors college is a cohort on campus. There's a living learning community cohort to it as well, where you just get more faculty involvement. There's more of a community feel. There's a bunch of scholarship, which I'll talk about towards the end of the presentation, and then you leave with honors designation. So it really is a nice supplement to all the different things that you're learning in the classroom. Aside from academics, there's a lot of support here at the university. We don't just get you enrolled and kick you out the door and hope we see you at the end of all this with your degree. We are going to be supporting you from day one. And really that starts initially off with your academic advisors. So similar to school counselors that you're used to at the high school level, our academic advisors are going to keep you on track and make sure that you graduate in 4 years. So your first exposure with them will be during orientation, where they'll help you schedule. And then they're there. If you ever have any questions or if you switch majors, you're always going to have a professional that's here to make sure you're on track and you know what to take. Aside from that, we have career and academic advising. They do so much in that office. So if you're undetermined like me, or maybe you have an idea of what you want to do, but you're kind of interested in what careers are out there, they can actually run assessments on you. So based off your personality and interest, it'll show you careers that are a good fit. That helped me out tremendously. I eventually got a degree in business, and working with them kind of geared me towards going into business because that's what my assessment was showing me would be a good fit. So they can help you out with that. They also do mock interviewing for you. They do internship and job fairs. They do resume workshops. So you're going to want to work with them early and often, and then they're really going to help you with that transition to moving into the workforce or maybe going on to a more professional degree. Aside from career and academic advising, we have what's called the Center for Student Progress, which I would consider the main hub for student support services at YSU. So they have student counseling services. You know, college can be stressful. If you ever need to talk with a licensed counselor, we have them on staff. They're there. We have disability services. So if you're on an IEP and maybe you need additional test taking time or help with notes and things like that, any of the services that you're used to at the high school level will have at least that, if not way more at the college level. And then we also have the Reading and Study Skills Department, the Writing Center, and the Math Assistance Center. If you ever need help in any of those different areas, we have you covered. I know that some students will admit to me that they never had to study at the high school level, and they get to college and they're like, oh my goodness, I really do need to learn how to study. Reading and study skills is a good area. Maybe you need to learn how to write in college formats with the Writing Center. Math was always a struggle for me, a Math Assistance Center. I also want to let you know that the Center for Student Progress offers free tutoring in any subject area. So if there's ever a class that you're struggling in, you can go to them. It's tied into tuition. It's no additional cost, but they'll help you kind of get through your classes. And then last but not least, student life. College, I mean, absolute best. I love my college experience here. You're here for your education. You're here for the academics. Don't get me wrong, but man, enjoy yourself. Have fun. It's going to be the best years of your life. So there are a lot of ways to get involved in the university. I mentioned in the introduction, we are a Division I school. So if you're interested in sports at the D1 level, I'd recommend going to ysusports.com. You can check out all of our different programs, the rosters, coaching information's on there. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you weren't at the Division I level, but you still like playing sports. I played a ton of intramural sports. We also have club sports here at Youngstown State, a great rec center. The Andrews Student Recreation and Wellness Center has a 53-foot climbing wall, has an 8-mile track, basketball, racquetball courts, tons of free weights. They do Zumba, spinning, yoga classes. We have Adventure Rec, where they go on climbing trips and rafting trips and skiing and snowboarding trips. So if you want to be active, a lot of options. Maybe you're more of a spectator. That's cool. You get free season tickets to all our athletic events on campus. Football season's always a really fun time. Men and women's basketball. We have an excellent track and field program. Really, any of those different sports you can spectate, they're all going to be here on campus. Aside from that, there's tons of different organizations you can get involved in. Greek life, student activities. I mean, there's 200 plus student organizations on this campus. There's a Harry Potter Alliance. There's a squirrel watching club. There's video game clubs. There's religious clubs and organizations. There's honor societies, as you can see, student government. There really is something for everybody. And if there's an interest that you have that maybe we don't currently have an organization for, I always encourage students start it up. It only takes 2 people to start an organization. That's how the squirrel watching club got started. There were some people that wanted to do it, and now it's a pretty big organization. So whatever your interests are, bring them to YSU. We also have a great veteran affairs, the Veteran Service Center, So if you are a dependent or a current veteran, we have a beautiful building that you can go to with private labs and things like that. And also even student employment. I mean, I worked for parking as a student here at YSU. Awesome job. You're already studying here. Being employed on campus is like being a student organization. You're going to meet people you wouldn't have met otherwise. And I mean, what the heck? You don't have to travel very far to go to work. And they will work around your schedule. So if you have more homework or group projects that you need to get out of work for, they're very forgiving. So it's something I highly recommend. And really, all those 3 things are going to make up your Y experience. Without getting on a soapbox, I just want to say that in general, college is going to be 100% what you make of it. So when you're old like me and you look back to college, I think you will enjoy your classes. But my best memories of Youngstown State are being involved in Greek life, my internships, the people I met, a lot of the things that I did both in and out of the classroom. So there are students here at YSU that go to class, they go back to the res halls, they play video games all day. I mean, they'll get their degree, but in my opinion, college is your chance to reinvent yourself. Get out there, try new things, meet new people, just make it your own experience. And I think you'll get a lot more out of it. So, all right, I was on a soapbox. I apologize. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is residence life. Youngstown State University is actually unique in the fact that we don't require students to live on campus at all. I mean, there's some schools that have a first-year requirement. There's some schools that have a 4-year requirement. Our halls naturally fill up on their own, so we don't have any kind of requirement. So if you want to commute to YSU, you certainly can do that. I would highly recommend living on campus, and I would highly recommend living in a YSU hall. And really the difference is the YSU halls are the halls that are owned by the university. And when I talk about tuition and cost with room and board, I'm going to be talking about the YSU halls specifically. But those are mostly first-year students living in the YSU halls. And you have an RA, so it's just a really great way to meet other students. If you want to live on campus, but you don't want to live in a YSU hall, we have so many other options that are technically available to first-year students. So they're not owned by the university, but they're right on or around campus. Like Beekner Hall, for example, is an all-girls residence hall. The Flats at Wick, Erie Terminal, The Edge, On Clay, and Lofts, they're all basically apartments. So if you want to live in those facilities, you would pay tuition to YSU and essentially rent to those facilities. And I will tell you, they're all variant. Some of those are nicer than where I live. So it really just depends on the experience that you want. Again, totally up to you. For more information, I would recommend visiting our Housing and Residence Life webpage. All right, so actually in kind of related news to the housing, I want to let you know that all students are allowed to have cars on campus as well. So whether you're a first-year student or a senior, you can have a car. And the nice thing about living in a YSU hall is you actually park right by your residence hall. All right, let's talk about cost real quick. Youngstown State University prides itself on affordability. In general, college is definitely an investment, but we are very affordable. We want to make sure that you leave with as little to no debt as possible. So for students in Pennsylvania, there's actually 2 different tuition categories. You have the affordable tuition advantage counties in Western Pennsylvania. Those are the counties that are in gold. If some of you are tuning in and you're more Eastern Pennsylvania, you will actually be in the blue out of state. So let's talk about what those costs look like. The first thing you'd want to do is find your appropriate column. So if you were in those gold affordable tuition advantage counties, the nice thing is, as you can see, you only pay $360 a year more than an Ohio resident would pay. So you're not paying the full out-of-state surcharge. So that's a tremendous value. Even for out-of-state students, we are more affordable than most of the Pennsylvania schools, but especially for the affordable tuition advantage, it's excellent. So you're seeing 2 different types of cost, the total commuter cost and the total resident cost. The total commuter cost includes strictly your tuition. So that is a fall and spring full-time student. A full-time student takes between 12 and 18 credit hours. So those numbers that you see there reflect that. Now, if you want to live in a YSU hall, so as I said, the ones that are owned by the university, if you want to live on campus, the $9,700 that you see there includes your room in a YSU hall, your meal plan, cable, laundry, internet, pretty much everything else that you would need to live and survive on campus. The only thing that's not included in those costs would be books. So again, a really great value. For the students that are in the blue out of state, you might be wondering, man, the out of state surcharge, $6,000. It's, that's a decent hike there versus the affordable tuition advantage. Well, I have good news for you. There are some ways that you can certainly curb those costs. And in general, that's the big thing. You want to get as much money out of these schools as possible. The hard work that you're putting in the classroom, this is the time to get rewarded for that. So let's talk about scholarship. We have a variety of different scholarships at Youngstown State University. The Freshman Excellence Scholarships are automatically awarded. So they're admission-based scholarships. So essentially what that means is if you meet the criteria and you apply to the university, you're going to get the award. So the entry-level scholarship at Youngstown State is the First Opportunity Award. That's for students that have a 3.0 GPA and either a 19 ACT or 990 SAT. And I will talk about a little bit, YSU is test optional for admission, but currently for scholarships, we are not test optional. So we do require the GPA and one of those test scores. As you can see, as the GPA and test scores increase, so does the value of them, clear down to the trustees scholarship. So if you are tied or ranked number one in your graduating class as valedictorian, you will automatically get a $5,000 a year award. All of these different scholarships are renewable for 3 additional years as long as you maintain full-time status, which again is at least 12 credit hours per semester or 24 credit hours per academic year, and a 3.0 GPA or above. These don't stack on each other. So if you get, let's say, the Dean's Scholarship, doesn't mean you also get the red and white in the First Opportunity. You will earn the highest award amount. And actually, real quick, I'm thinking back to that tuition slide. I should have mentioned the tuition numbers that I mentioned in that slide. Those are actually fixed for your 4 years here. You'll be in a cohort, so those tuition numbers cannot be increased as a student here. So sorry, I forgot to mention that, but I wanted to go back to that real quick. So these are the Freshman Excellence Scholarships. Again, these are based strictly on you getting your application and your transcripts and test scores in the YSU for review. There are a lot of other scholarships that actually can stack on top of these. So the other scholarships include the University Scholars Award. So earlier I mentioned the Honors College. Students have a 3.5 GPA, a 26 ACT, or 1240 SAT. If you meet those requirements, you can apply for the Honors College. In doing so, you're technically also applying for the University Scholars Award, which is a full ride scholarship. We don't give a lot of full ride scholarships out. If you are admitted to the Honors College and you don't get the full ride scholarship, you will still be put in for a $1,000 to $3,000 academic award and a $1,000 to $3,000 housing award that will stack back on those Freshman Excellence Scholarships. So the other scholarships and the Freshman Excellence Scholarships can stack on top of one another. The Provost Scholarship is another one that's listed there. That is for out-of-state students. So if you were in that blue out-of-state category, so if you're in like Eastern Pennsylvania watching this, if you have a 3.0 GPA and either a 19 ACT or 990 SAT, the Provost Scholarship will award you $4,000 to $6,000 to curb that out-of-state tuition surcharge, which is huge. So again, I mean, you're basically paying what an in-state student would pay regardless of where you're at in Ohio. So again, super affordable. And then as you can see, I mean, obviously if you play D1 sports, there's scholarships there. There's awards for doing well as a continuing student. There's 700 plus scholarships on our financial aid webpage. The nice thing about that is you actually fill out one scholarship application. It's called the foundation application. And by doing so, it'll automatically put you in contention for any scholarship you're eligible for. So my point of this slide is, again, you want to really maximize the amount of scholarship dollars that you get no matter where you're looking. I'm very confident at YSU. I know at baseline we're already affordable, but when you throw these scholarships in, we are an excellent tuition value. If you're interested in the university, you want to work with people like me for admissions, and you want to work with people in our financial aid office to get as much money as you can to, again, reduce your bottom line number. Okay, so We are nearing the end. I just want to walk you through the admissions timeline to show you what it takes to become a YSU Penguin, and then we'll get Mario on here to talk about his student experience. So the first thing first would be to obviously fill out an application. Our application is very straightforward. We only offer the institutional app. We are not on Common App. The reason is because by the time you fill out our institutional app, it's actually faster than doing the Common App with the supplement. I promise you our application will take you 5 minutes. It's very straightforward. So you would go to apply.ysu.edu and you fill out the application. There is a $45 application fee. If you are on a free or reduced lunch plan, talk with your school counselor. We'd be happy to waive those fees, but we do need a fee waiver sent to us. And then in addition to that, we need your high school transcripts. So for the seniors watching this, you've already completed junior year, you'd have your high school transcript sent. If you have taken AP classes or you're in an IB curriculum, we're more than happy to give you credit for that. We need those test scores sent to us. And same with CLEP. If you take the CLEP test, we're happy to give you credit, but we need to know about it. So AP, for example, scores of 3 and above will come for credit. If you're wanting to learn more, just go to our ysu.edu page and type in AP, IB, CLEP. You can see all the score requirements and what credit you'll get. And then ACT or SAT scores. So I did mention the fact that we are test optional for admission, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, but you do need to submit those scores if you want scholarships. So technically that would complete your app, though we will move you forward for review without ACT or SAT scores. And then last but not least, college transcripts. If you're doing dual enrollment work through maybe a local 4-year or community college, again, we're more than happy to give you credit for it, but we need to have the official college transcript sent. We cannot take college credits off of a high school transcript. So when you're done completing those college transcript or those courses, just have those transcripts sent over to us. So essentially your complete application would be the application, the $45 application fee, and at the very least, your high school transcripts. All right, so deadlines. YSU's priority deadline is February 15th for the seniors watching this. That'd be February 15th, 2021. If we have any juniors watching this, it'd be February 15th, 2022, and so on. That's a pretty late priority deadline. Most students get their applications into us by at least December 1. But if you get everything into us by February 15th, you're going to be eligible for majority of the scholarships. And also it's going to give you the opportunity to get into the earliest orientation as possible. The nice thing about getting everything in by February 15th is you'll also meet, as you can see, our summer deadline. So if you decide, I actually want to take some college classes summer before fall starts, and we have students that do that, you'll be eligible for that as well. So keep that in mind. All right, let's talk about the requirements. So what does it take to get into YSU? Well, first, I want to talk about the averages. So the class of 2020 that just came into YSU, the average GPA was just about a 3.5. The average ACT was a little over a 21. The average SAT was around a 1080. You saw what the scholarship requirements are. The minimum requirements that we'd like to see is a 2.0 GPA with at least a 2.0 in your core areas. So English, math, science, social studies, foreign language, and then at least a 17 on the ACT or 920 on the SAT. We are also test optional. The ACT and SAT, not only do we use it for scholarship, but we do use it for review as well, and placement, which I'll talk about. If you don't have it, then you go into more of a holistic review. So all we're going to have to review is your high school transcripts. Now, I want to say something real quick. If your ACT scores are maybe below the 17 or something like that, the test scores can never hurt you. So I talk to students all the time. They're like, I don't like how I did on the ACT. I don't want to submit it. If you are not admissible through the regular review, we're going to automatically review you through test optional. So always send your test scores. They can never hurt you. But basically what the test optional review looks like, it's holistic. We're going to look much more in depth on your core areas. So again, English, math, science, social studies, foreign language. We're going to want to see at least a B average in those for admission. Submit your application. we'll see where you kind of end up. That's what I always tell students: get your application in. We're going to review you. We're going to look for every reason we can to admit you, but we also want to make sure that you're prepared to do well at a 4-year institution. All right, so after that, you will be placed. The goal of placement is any student at YSU, regardless of major, has to complete some form of math and 2 college composition classes. It's initially based off of your ACT and SAT scores. If you don't have those scores, or if you end up scoring low on the ACT or SAT, you will take placement testing. I also want to say that if you have dual enrollment work coming in, so let's say you already took a college level English course, or you're going to receive that credit through AP, we're going to place you as high as possible. So just get us as much information as you can, and we are going to start you out in the highest level as possible. After being placed, you will go to an orientation. Orientations are really fun. You'll come to campus. I hope you'll come to campus. Last year was virtual. We're really hoping we can bring students to campus for orientation. But essentially, you meet with a smaller group of incoming students, you connect, you meet some peer leaders, you get your YSU ID, but most importantly, this is when you schedule your classes. So if you meet that February 15th deadline, you'll get to you'll be able basically to pick the earliest orientations possible, which is important because if you're like me and you don't want to start classes, like I hated going to high school like 7:30, it was annoying, I didn't want to wake up. So when I came to college, I'm like, I'm not taking classes till 11. And there's some students that take classes only Tuesdays and Thursdays. They stack their schedule. You get to pick when your classes are in college. So the earlier the orientation you get into, the more likely you'll be able to fully customize your schedule. So by doing that, you'll meet with your academic advisor that day and you'll schedule your classes. So essentially, those are your 3 steps to becoming a YSU Penguin. I know it's a lot to take in. We will take questions at the end, but at this time, I want to turn it over to Mario, who's going to talk a little bit about his student experience. Mario, if you're there, take it away.
I'll turn off my mic. Hello all. Like Bill said, my name is Mario, and I'm a 3rd-year criminal justice student here at YSU. I'm also involved in a whole bunch of clubs and organizations here at YSU, other than my major. Just to list a few, I'm an admission ambassador here, a social media ambassador. I'm involved with Greek Life, and I work alongside our first-year student services, where we have a thing called Ignite for our first-year student services that plan it. And for our first-year students, they come in, and we just get them more involved and more familiar with campus, so that when their first week comes around, they're more comfortable coming in on campus and just more familiar with the whole campus college feel with that. But within my major, I've gotten a whole bunch of internship offers and got to go on a whole bunch of trips with our criminal justice department. So with that, I've gotten to go to Quantico, Virginia. I also got to see the FBI Academy and a personal tour of the White House, which is really, really cool. And with that, I've gotten to talk to a whole bunch of FBI agents as well, and got my name out there. So definitely get involved. That is my one tip that I stress to students here when I give tours to them, is get involved on campus, because you never know when a opportunity will pop up and you'll meet that one person and you'll get a job offer. So definitely get involved here on campus, because it helps me in the long run, and it'll advance my college career after I graduate. So definitely. Anything else, Bill? Good to go?
I don't know. Does anybody out there if you have any questions, please submit them in the Q&A area. If you have questions for us, if you have questions for Mario, coming up. I went to the beginning here somehow. I want to shoot all the way to the end and let you know that if you have questions down the road, we are here to help you. Let me get our questions box up. We do have a question that just came in. If your GPA is considerably higher than your requirement, but your test scores are not quite there, is there still a chance to be admitted to the Honors College? The Honors College has said that yes, if you are slightly below the requirements, I still highly recommend applying. A couple things on requirements. First and foremost, let's say that your ACT or SAT is lower than maybe a scholarship or an honors requirement right now. We are continuing to accept new GPA and test scores. So we've had students that actually take the ACT even after they graduate high school to try and bump into a higher scholarship category. So I'd recommend applying now. And then, when you take the test, just list YSU as a recipient so that we get all of your updated scores. So the short answer to your question is I would always recommend, if you're slightly below, go ahead and get your application in. But if you have the opportunity to take the test, I usually recommend you take one of the tests at least twice and then maybe try the other. I know as a student, when I took the ACT the first time, I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't do that well. The second time I was much more prepared and I scored a lot higher. And then you may even want to try the opposite test. So I know Pennsylvania students, that's more of an SAT state. Maybe try the ACT. Whatever you score the highest on is what we're going to use for scholarship and what we're going to use for placement. So the answer to that question is yes, there is a chance to be admitted in the honors if you're slightly below. But I would recommend, for scholarship and all those other purposes, if you get a chance to take the ACT or SAT more than one time, just submit the new scores to us and we'll update your record. So good question. Anybody else out there have any questions for myself? You got a current student on the line right now. Mario, happy to answer any questions you have about student experience. Anything else out there? I do want to go back to the point I said about our visit.ysu.edu page. You can hear me talk all day about YSU. I do really think it's important to come to campus and check it out to see. I think campus fit is really important. It's actually, in my opinion, real quick, I think there's three main things that you all should be considering in general about college. First is, do they offer the major that you're interested in? Obviously, it's very important. If you're undetermined, I would say look at a school that has a lot of different majors so that you can try them out. So I think that we check that box. The second is campus fit. Every campus out there, and here's the thing, we are all competing for you. There's a lot of really great schools out there. Every campus has a different vibe to it. When I came to YSU for the first time, it just felt like home to me. It had this vibe to it. YSU is like a big family. As I said, that's what's kind of nice about our size. We're not too big. We're not too small. Everybody here is super friendly. Get on campus and see what the vibe's like. Try the food. Check out the res halls. Watch our videos. Things like that. So make sure that campus fit is good. And then the third is going to be cost. You don't want to leave college buried in debt. And that's where I think getting a chance to take the ACT or SAT again, getting us updated transcripts, try to get as much money out of these schools as you can so that you're not paying back student loans, until you're, again, old and bald like me. So, all right. Anybody else? Oh, so the visit page, that's what I was mentioning. So go to the visit.ysu.edu page and schedule an on-campus visit. We offer them at least twice, if not 3 times a day, Monday through Friday. And we also have some other virtual options for visits as well. So we'd love to have you all on campus to check us out. All right. Anybody else have any questions? We got about 7 minutes. Not seeing any. Mario, are you still on?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, since we have a couple more minutes left, what would you say is one of your most favorite experiences that you've had here at Youngstown State?
Experiences.
Yeah. Like when you look back to college, we're going to be like, oh man, that was
fun.
Yeah.
So definitely Greek life. I stress Greek life just because of all the philanthropy work that we do. Ours is Special Olympics. So just working with those kids is just amazing. I enjoy it so much. Just the work that we do, the polar plunge, those are always fun. Just diving into that cold water every year. But yeah, that's just the fun part about it is just Greek life in general. We're a big community, but like in a small college as well. So like we're our own little family as well. So it's nice to have that.
Were you involved in high school? Like were you involved in organizations and stuff before coming to college?
Yeah. So I was involved with student counseling or student council in high school.
Okay.
I was my class VP and I was just involved with our many clubs.
Okay.
But those are the main ones that I was involved with.
Well, and the reason I bring that up, and I know we have a couple people still on here, is that Mario was involved in high school and he continued to be involved at college. I was not that involved in high school, and I decided, I think like maybe after my first semester at YSU, that no, I'm going to make this my own experience. The nice thing about YSU is you really can totally reinvent yourself. So you're coming to a new environment with all new people. One of the really cool things that I liked about college was the fact that, like, in high school, everybody knows what grade everybody's in, and there's cliques and things like that. It's not like that in college. No one cares if you're a freshman or a senior. Everybody is college. Everyone's in college. So you can totally reinvent yourself. You can become anybody that you want to be. If maybe you're a senior in high school right now and you're like, you know what, I really do wish I would have been more involved, or I wish I would have stepped outside my comfort zone a little bit more. This is going to be your chance to do that. And I highly recommend it. Like I said, I wasn't involved in high school. I came to college. I was really involved, and I absolutely loved it. I didn't really have a high expectation coming to Youngstown State. I was more of a local student, and I was thinking about going more into a trade, and my parents are like, nah, you should probably at least try college out first. So to get them off my back, I knew YSU was affordable, and I'm like, I'll try it out. Undersold it, loved it. This is a great university. We have excellent academics. We're affordable. The people are awesome. There's tons of opportunities. So I would just recommend, giving us a shot, checking it out, and making college your own experience. Mario, how much fun are you having?
I'm having the time of my life here, and it's almost over. I'm sad because I graduate next year, so kind of sad about that. But
we did get a question here. Do you get a lot of Pittsburgh, PA students? Absolutely, we do. We get a ton of students from, for Pennsylvania, we do pull mostly from Western Pennsylvania, those affordable tuition advantage category, counties rather, because of obviously the tuition advantage. With Pittsburgh, we do fight like the Pittsburgh Promise and stuff. We're still very affordable. So I think we still do get a lot of the Pittsburgh students because of our affordability. And because we're still within the thing about YSU is that if you come from Pittsburgh and, somewhere, you get a going away school experience, but you're still close enough where you can go home, occasionally if you want, like if you have like a gathering or something like that. So you'll get the going away school experience, but you're close enough where you can, get back home if you need to. And the nice thing about Youngstown in general is we are about an hour in between Cleveland and Pittsburgh. So you can come to, you can broaden your horizons for the Pittsburgh students. They can go up to Cleveland students. So it's really kind of centrally located, which is nice. There's a lot to do both on and around campus here in Youngstown, but then we have a lot going on within an hour radius. So got 2 more minutes and counting here. Anybody else have any questions? These have been good so far. Not seeing anything. As far as things to do on and around campus, it's kind of a weird time right now on campus with the pandemic, but I will give props to the Division of Student Experience. They really do a lot to get students engaged outside of just going to class. On normal case, there's always things going on during the week, on the weekends. The city of Youngstown itself has a lot of different entertainment venues. We have a great park called Mill Creek Park. So there is a lot of things to do both on and around campus. You certainly will not be bored. All right. Anything else? We got time for at least one more question. Not seeing anything else on there. Mario, I'll tell you what, we're going to end with this. What would be one piece of advice you would give high school students about coming into college?
Make sure your studying habits are up and running, because I know I wasn't studying that much in high school because that was just like natural to me. I just did good on all my tests. But that's what my mindset was like that coming into college, and totally got a rude awakening, and definitely make sure your studying habits are up and running. So
Have you ever used like the tutoring or like the math assistance center?
CSP, yeah, I used the Center for Student Progress a lot my freshman year, just like for those bigger classes that our professors just click through the slides. Definitely worth it. I got A's and B's in all my classes using them. So,
Okay.
yep.
All right. So there you have it. Use the services we have. We'll make sure that you're successful and happy as a student here at YSU.
Definitely worth it.
Okay, good. Well, again, we appreciate it. I think we're at time right now, but we really do appreciate your time. If you have any additional questions, as you can see, please reach out to us at the email address or give us a call. We're more than happy to help you. We know the transition from high school to college can be a bit tricky to navigate at times and stressful, and I just want you to know that we are here to help you along the way should you have any additional questions. Thank you all very, very much for attending.
And Bill and Mario, we definitely appreciate you being a part of the Virtual College Exploration Program for your time and your expertise today. Thank you as well to our attendees. I just want to close with a couple of quick announcements. Attendees, when this window closes out, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback that you can provide. Also, as I mentioned, this is just one of many sessions being hosted in the coming weeks. Please be sure to sign up for additional sessions at pacac.org. And in about a week, the recording of this session, as well as others that have been completed, will also be available online at pacac.org. Once again, thank you to our friends at Youngstown State and to all of our attendees. I hope you all have a great rest of the day.
Take care. Thank you.